let's talk AFC East. We're talking Josh Allen. Let's talk about the AFC East. The Bills are the favorites to win the division, obviously. But let's just start with the Pats, man. What the hell is Bill Belichick doing with their offense? Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, two coaches who are not traditionally offensive coaches, as his offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. You have a second-year quarterback, and your best quarterback coach is probably Brian Hoyer, your backup quarterback. What is Bill doing? Is he just trying to tell the world he's smarter than them? Or
I
has he
think
become so smart that he's become delusional?
I think that Bill is at this point where a lot of people didn't expect. What did they went 10-7 last year?
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people expected that. Even with Mac Jones, who came off a really good year, national championship, Alabama. I don't think that I didn't think the Patriots were gonna, because remember, actually a year ago, people were talking about when does Mac Jones take over for Cam Newton. This motherfucker Bill was like, we're cutting Cam, and threw it out there like before. I think Cam played and he did really well in that first preseason game because I remember watching it, but he cut him like
Right
in
after.
the middle of preseason. Yeah, and so I think Bill's got a method to his madness, and I won't question it because even though we've only seen 2 years post Brady, and Brady's already got a championship without him, I still think that Bill Belichick's in a class of his own as a coach, and Bill might be having just a poker face, man, and maybe he's just not letting everybody really know what's going on in that building. I mean, even with B Flow. Remember, B Flow's title wasn't defensive coordinator, but he was the de facto defensive coordinator because he called defensive plays, but that wasn't his title. His title was like defensive special assistant and linebackers coach or something, but he was calling the defense in the Super Bowl that year when they held the Rams to 3 points. And so I think that Bill's just giving us a poker face. We don't really know what's going on at Patriots camp. We know that Mac Jones has slimmed down, and
the offense is looking bad.
We gotta wait and see. The Patriots have, and I get it, Tom Brady was a quarterback. The Patriots have always done things the Patriots way with guys that are unsung that nobody really knows about, and they always won games. And Tom Brady being the only outlier Patriot. I mean, they had great defensive players, but it's not like Teddy Bruschi was the number 5 pick in the draft coming out, and everybody was like, "This guy's a fucking Hall of Famer."
Man, look, Teddy Bruschi is
Georgia. All right, he just got into Hall of Fame, right? Richard Seymour was good for Georgia, but I'm just saying, it's not like he gets these superstar guys.
Bruschi's he's
Keith Rings.
He's your quintessential do it all for the team guy, play through a concussion because it's all about the team and the Patriot way guy. Like, that's who Teddy Bruschi is, overachiever.
And his name is Teddy Bruschi. Like, his last name is Bruschi. So, like,
sounds like the New England guy.
No choice but to root for him out there in Boston.
So did you hear Cowherd's take on this?
No.
He thinks that Bill is trying to sabotage the franchise because Robert Kraft made him get rid of Jimmy G. And he pretty much is like, "Hey, I'm Bill Belichick. I know football. You let me do this football shit, Robert Kraft."
I know that he didn't know that Jimmy G would be available today, but I don't know. That's just theory. It's just theory. I don't think that, because here's the thing, Bill can lose. He can lose games and it not affect, just like Greg Popovich right now. It doesn't really matter if Greg Popovich is winning 30 games a year in San Antonio because he's already cemented as who he is. He can't even really make his resume much better. So
let me throw something at you. Again, some more shit I'm stealing from Cowherd, right? I want to get your take on it.
Go for it.
If Bill Belichick is just average for the rest of his career, Andy Reid wins 3 Super Bowls and retires on a high, do people say Andy Reid's the best coach ever, greatest coach ever?
No.
I agree with you.
He lost way too much. For the longest, I mean, Andy couldn't get over the hump. It took beating Michael Vick and Jim Moore to get to that point in Philly for them to finally get to the Super Bowl. Not to
Game
mention
management's trash.
Not to mention just a Falcons franchise that was notoriously not winners. So, and Donovan McNabb was a better at the time. And they had Terrell Owens. There was a lot going. Brian Dawkins is a top 5 safety, strong safety of all time. Like, they had a bunch of guys on that on those Eagles team. I mean, the Eagles were stacked and they still weren't winning. They fell short of it. So no, I don't think so. Especially even with Patrick Mahomes. And I know everybody could make the Bill Belichick argument with Brady or whatever. Bill won 2 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator for the Giants, and so I don't think that it's a good comparison. Even if he were to win, because he's only got 1, right, Andy? Yeah. So 3 more. Let's say he wins 3 and 6 out of the next 6 years. He gets 3. No, I just no, like no, like Bill Belichick coached a team to 16-0. Like I know they didn't win the Super Bowl, but let's not forget that there's only been 1 team. There's only been 2 teams in NFL history that have went undefeated in the regular season, and they did it with more games and different rules and
different competition.
Yeah, man.
I heard it and I go, I'll tell you what. Here's what I hate about the media, mainstream media, is they have their views and their views really taint history, because the way he painted it is like, no great movie has a terrible ending, no great book has a terrible ending. But if Bill Belichick has a terrible ending to his career, people will misremember it. But his sustained greatness, I think, will trump the end. Just like Greg Popovich's sustained greatness will trump the end, because smart people realize that the Brady versus Belichick argument is not an indictment on Bill Belichick's resume. Like, if you really understand how coaching, how winning championships work, it's great coaches and great players. That's how you win multiple championships. And if you don't have both, it won't happen. So to sit here and say, who's more important, Brady or Belichick? That's stupid TV talk. It's not a real conversation. Because Belichick is not the great coach that he is by his record and his accomplishments if he doesn't have players like Tom Brady to do his bidding, to carry out the plan of the day, to be that leader and to be the GOAT, like GOAT player, GOAT coach. And Popovich ain't Popovich without Tim Duncan. But the thing that makes the Popovich and the Spurs organization great, and the thing that makes the Patriots great, is that they were good on the edges, on the margins. They could turn Julian Edelman
into a Super
Bowl MVP. They could turn Manu Ginobili into a Hall of Fame player. You know what I mean?
Deion Branch into a Super Bowl MVP.
Troy Brown into a corner wearing number 80.
Can be on the field and see the Seahawks get to the 2-yard line and not call a timeout. Keep your personnel out there and have an undrafted player out of Alabama State make the play of the Super Bowl, one of the best plays in Super Bowl history, and get you a ring.
And knew the play before it was called.
He had an undrafted player on the field in the Super Bowl he wasn't a rookie in his second year.
And then
was he a rookie? I don't even remember if Malcolm Butler was a rookie.
It doesn't matter.
Regardless, an undrafted guy on the field and not calling a timeout and just having the defense run what they knew, what he prepared them for.
So you, like me, you just go with, Bill Belichick knows so much football. I can't comfortably question what he's doing right now. Like, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
And the sustained excellence and consistency is more than just the idea of, the Spurs went to the playoffs 17 or 18 straight years. Belichick and Brady, that era, they never had a losing season, which a lot of people don't realize that. And they only missed the playoffs that one year, and only twice did they not win the division. Actually, they did make the playoffs twice. 97, 9-7 and 02 the year after the first Super Bowl, and then 11-5 when Brady was out. They went 11-5 without Tom Brady anyways. And got Matt Castle paid. And eventually being the quarterback for Andy Reid before they got Alex Smith. And so, look, like you just said in the previous conversation, there's certain guys you just can't have a conversation with. They're not in the same league. Like it's not comparable. There's only one coach, I think, just because of how young he is, that can potentially maybe get his name there, and that would be McVay. Yeah.
And I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to do that.
Yeah, and it's just because he's so young. It's similar to Patrick Mahomes throwing 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards in his first year as a star, second year in the league.
Is he better than Brady right now? No, he still ain't. You see what Brady did to him when he had to look at him eye to eye in the playoffs twice?
And McVay, to his credit, we have a direct comparison. He went against Belichick in a Super Bowl.
And you see what Belichick did to him.
He dressed him. He held the number 1 or number 2 offense. I don't know if the Rams or the Chiefs had the better. Either way, Belichick played them back to back and beat them both.
Yeah, bro. That man McVay said, "Boy, I got to change up a lot of stuff, boy. The way this man Bill Belichick did me, I thought I could coach."
And it ended up working for him, and now he's got his own coaching tree
bro, one of the best ones. Okay, another AFC East topic. Can the Dolphins win the division?
I give them a better chance than the Patriots. I believe.
Oh, let me spell it out for you. Right, my dramatic pause was too long. Tua is back in his comfort zone. Offensive line's been beefed up. He has weapons. Like when we saw Tua, when it was tanked for Tua, good offensive line, weapons. You look at the weapons he has, Tyreek Hill. Easily the most dynamic receiver in the league. Some could say the best, most won't say the best, but I think he affects coverage more than any receiver in the league. Jalen Waddle, who is close to Tyreek 2.0. Elijah Moore. Solid number 3 receiver. Mike Gesicki. Well, then they got that stable of running backs. They got
Cedric Wilson Jr., who they got from Dallas as well.
I said Ward. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Cedric Ward. I'm sorry. Look at me. Not doing my homework. Cedric Ward.
Wilson.
Do they got Wilson?
Cedric Wilson, not Ward.
Cedric Wilson. Yeah, Cedric Ward. That's somebody from Cartersville. Boy.
They signed up Mohamed Sanu, by the way, too.
Oh, who cares?
Wide receiver 5. I mean,
they got Sanu, but then in their backfield.
Williams.
Huh?
It's Preston Williams. He had a decent year for the Dolphins last year.
And they have a solid backfield.
They've got 4 guys that literally have all started games over the last 2 seasons. Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Sony Michel, Myles Gaskin. Very nice. Arguably the best running back room in the NFL. From a depth perspective, any of them could start. Almost like they could just do hot hand.
Bro, they're gonna do some of that Kyle Shanahan stuff because again, Mike McDaniel, his guy, and some of that Belichick stuff where it's like, hey, you're the running back this week because you give us the best matchup. Call me crazy. They don't have the toughest schedule. They can win 11 games, bro.
They can.
And the Bills playing a first place schedule, they can drop a couple.
Well, then I know exactly what you want to do come Vegas. That win total is 8.5.
Oh, you already know.
You're humping the over.
Oh, golly. Humping it like it's my wife.
Well, if anything, you're trying to ask them if they got a prop bet at 9.5 at that point. To where you can get it at because the over is minus 135. So 9.5 would definitely be plus 20, plus 125, something like that. If a book will allow you to do an alternative over under on win total, which I think they do. You just have to ask.
You know, I like how you're roping in the gambling, even though we're going to hit that intentionally next week.
Yeah.
But giving away, hey, Dolphins over. I like the value of Dolphins to win the AFC East. I won't predict it, but I like the value.
Let's
Do we
get to
talk
that.
about the Jets?
We have to. We got players fucking people's moms, friends, and stuff.
Stacy's mom.
While his girlfriend is dating another guy in the league that he was roommates with, and they
Whoa,
all
whoa,
went,
whoa! Zach
they
Wilson's
all
girlfriend.
and they all went to BYU, where you shouldn't have been fucking on campus unless you were married, right? So, yeah, of course, we got to hit the Jets. Plus, what would it be without talking about the NYJETS, Jets, Jets, Jets?
I don't have much to say. I'm just confused why Robert Saleh has an issue with the Halo helmet things. I guess because of the inconsistency. It's like we got to practice in them, but we're not going to wear them in game. Just like, hey, Robert Saleh, learn how to coach your team and let them be safe. Make them safe, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
I think that
He's fired next year.
They put some more pieces around him. They drafted relatively well this year. Matter of fact, some would say they had the best first 2 rounds for sure. Brees Hall, Iowa State, big back, gonna be big and fancy. Can't wait for the draft to see where if he's on the board, if he's where I think he might be.
We're streaming the draft, by the way, guys.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We got to get that date because that's gonna be the show that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a show because we're going to be doing some more NFL talk, of course, while doing the draft. That way it's not just a complete, who'd you take? No, we're going to do some analysis on this stuff.
It's going to be a shit show. I'm not glad to.
It is. I can't
It'll
wait.
be all over the place. We definitely got to give everybody the disclaimer. Hey, certain words you can't say that you may say in your private life or live.
Hugh's going to be the guy we got to warn more. And if Josh is off the wagon, probably have got to give him. Oh, and by the way, you can't do certain stuff on camera.
Yeah.
Even though it's on Spotify and it might not be a video on Spotify.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. And you got it on Facebook too, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. We don't want it to get, taken off Facebook.
Yeah, I've been kicked off of a social media platform before. I don't want that to happen again.
Well, and I bet Amanda is still trying.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
Get you blocked, by the way.
Huh?
What did she do to get you blocked? Or deactivated for like?
No, I had to create a whole new Instagram.
I know. Now it's free Big Baby to go as opposed to Big Baby to go.
Yeah.
You still can't go back to that name if you wanted to.
No.
Wow.
That name can't work anymore.
It's retired.
She and her fans reported me for violating Instagram's rules or some shit. They said I was being like a hate speech or something. Yeah.
Okay.
It is what it is, man.
Anywho, Jets, they did do some moves. They had a great draft.
They did.
They got who did they draft at wide receivers? They got what's his face? Not Olave. They got the other Ohio State.
Jameson Williams? No.
Because he's Ohio State. I mean, he's Alabama. But
Alabama. Yeah. That guy.
The guy that a lot of people thought we were going to draft.
The guy we probably should have drafted. Garrett Wilson.
Yep, Garrett Wilson.
And they got Sauce.
Jamar Chase a little bit.
And they got Sauce.
Yeah, and they took Sauce Gardner, right? So looking up, if Saleh is half the defensive coach that everybody thought he was in San Francisco,
I don't think he is that.
Well, that'll be the deal breaker, and it probably doesn't help too that they said that Joe Flacco looked a hell of a lot better than.
And the 49ers defense got better last year under DeMeco Ryans too. Just throw that out there.
Yeah. So, but they'll be the bottom dweller here, so we can move on from them.
I think they're going to be a feisty 5-win team now.
I hate to get back to the gambling. Their over/under is 5.5. So,
yeah,
sounds like they're right on the money. If you think feisty 5, they might get 6. Who knows? That over is, by the way, is -175. So clearly, a lot of money coming in on them to get to 6.